it's the host. That is Dr. Frona. Let me ask him.
Nicole, I can record.
Okay. Much appreciated, whoever said that for me. So without further ado, I'm going to start the slideshow.
Ah, Megan, your picture didn't make it. That's too bad. But
So sad.
I know, I'm sad. Last year we got a whole circle picture and everything. So hi, I'm Alan. I guess I should pronounce my full name, Alan Chin. I'm the program director at UCLA Mattel Children's Hospital. I'm going to try to tamp down my anxiety. I don't like talking in groups, and I also don't like going first. So, double hit here over here. But just to highlight a couple of things, I think I already think that you being here and interested in the Western region is the right thing to do. I think all the things that we've said in the comics are totally true. I think specifically for our UCLA program here, I think all the things that we talked about for the whole region are true. The diversity of the patient population, the fact that there's a lot of expertise in kind of a lot of different areas that we're really interested in kind of working with not only a diverse patient population, but a diverse set of residents in every single one of our programs. I think things unique to UCLA, we are a multi-site training program. We're a fairly moderate large program, and we work in 4 main hospital sites. And that means you get a kind of a wide breadth of experience. We have a large academic center. That's our main hospital here at UCLA. We also work at a community hospital owned by UCLA, Santa Monica UCLA. We work in a county safety net hospital in Sylmar called Olive View Medical Center. We also get to work in a freestanding children's hospital, Millen's Children's Hospital, which actually was added to our program this last year. That gives you kind of a freestanding children's hospital that's otherwise not attached to any other academic center. So a huge wide breadth of different patient populations, different hospital systems, an opportunity to really learn and grow in all those various different areas. I think that's, if I was going to highlight anything about our program, it's really that diversity of training, diversity of experience that we want you to have. And I think that comes across when we look at, where our graduates go. Almost half of them are Gen Peds, almost half of them to fellowship of some sort. We get to do that all in Los Angeles. So beach, sun, that's all true. I think that's been really great. Also a land of theme parks. I just took my children to Universal Studios on Monday, and they had a great time. So I think if you want to have an opportunity to kind of train in kind of all these diverse environments, work in a place that's really lovely to work in, this is what I like to highlight about the UCLA Pediatric Residency Program. I actually forgot the time limit, so I was trying to keep myself short. So hopefully I hit it.
No, that's good. And Megan, I'm so sorry about your photo. It was on there. I think it's just Google Slides, but I'm so sorry. I do have your photo. It's probably saved to my computer, actually.
That's all right. My face is right here, so it's all good. I'll just echo what Alan said. I'm the program coordinator. My name is Megan. Los Angeles is a great place to live and train, and our residents definitely enjoy having something to look forward to when they step out of the hospital and have a day off. So there is an endless amount of activities that they can get involved in. And in terms of just curriculum, I help manage our electives, and it's pretty awesome when a resident comes to us and says, I want to do this. Can I do that? And somehow Alan and I make it work. So they get pretty creative with the things that they want to get involved in. So.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. And just a heads up to the programs, I will be messaging you when you have 1 minute left. So just in case you aren't aware of your time, I'll try to keep you on track. So thank you guys.
So is that 5 minutes total, or what's the time total?
Yes, 5 minutes. There you are, Megan. You showed up.
Hey everyone, I'm Kevin. I am one of the chief residents at Harbor UCLA. I'm filling in for our program director, Dr. Ye, today. So we are located in the South Bay of LA County in Torrance. We're at a county hospital affiliated with UCLA Medical School. And so it's a nice mix of the really diverse county population, an underserved community that definitely needs the resources that we try to provide for them. And then we also get that experience of working with UCLA Med School and working with those med students, we get a lot out of the teaching and education there. As far as where we end up, it's usually about 50-50 primary care fellowships. We're a small to medium-sized program with 10 residents per year, so it's kind of variable depending on the year it is. I think some of the strengths of our program, in addition to the things that I highlighted already, are that because of our smaller size, we get to know each other really well. It's definitely, I would say, a really safe place to learn. There's a lot of, if you want customization to the curriculum, if there's, an experience that we don't have at our hospital, we do allow for occasional outside rotations too. So we try to be as flexible as possible to aid in all of our residents' development. As far as life stuff, we are close to the beach. And so you can kind of live exactly whatever lifestyle you want. If you want to be near the beach, if you want to be in a suburb, I lived in downtown LA my first couple years of residency. So I think we offer a pretty good work-life balance. Other things, we have an advocacy rotation that a lot of our residents like, and it helps us get to know the community more and make a difference there. Because we are so close to the beach, we're a trauma center in that area, and we get some occasional really interesting cases. We had like a shark bite from Catalina recently, which I don't know, that was one of my highlights of July. I thought that was pretty interesting. Luckily, the patient was okay. Yeah, Haya, do you have anything to add? My co-chief is here.
I just added in the chat that our diversity initiatives didn't show up, but I just wanted to highlight that a lot of us are very involved in DE&I, especially within our hospital system, within departments as well. And we work with our local community using different initiatives to increase URIM in medicine. And so unfortunately didn't show up, but we do a lot in DE&I from our department, as well as systems wide within the entire Department of Health Services in LA County.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rebecca Craig. I'm the program director at the University of New Mexico, and I will echo all of the things that people have said about the Western region. I myself am a transplant. I grew up in Illinois and moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico for my residency training. And here I am a few years later, still here and still loving New Mexico. New Mexico is the land of enchantment. Some people say entrapment, but we'll stick with enchantment. But there's so much to do and to explore. New Mexico is in a lot of ways opposite of LA, the programs that you've heard about already. We're the only children's hospital in the state. And so, somebody had mentioned previously about the catchment area for many of the Western programs being very large and diverse, and that's certainly true here in New Mexico. And so we serve a variety of populations, and our patients come from very under-resourced areas a lot of the time, and so we certainly come from a mentality that's very service-driven. That our patients need us at the academic center and need the care that we provide for them. So we take our mission very seriously. To that end, we focus a lot on advocacy. You'll work, in your advocacy rotation, getting to know the community, but throughout your training, you'll have opportunities to work with the legislature, to work with various community organizations, depending on what your passions might be from an advocacy perspective. So you see a lot of things about our program there listed, and hopefully at some point you can take a minute to read all of it. But I think, in general, our residents are really family oriented. We have a curriculum that's very flexible. We can expand to kind of what your interests are and really help you get the experiences you're looking for in your residency training. We're in the midst of a program expansion, so we'll be up to 21 categorical residents per year, starting with your class next year, plus the child neuro program as well. Our residents find various career opportunities after training in a variety of places, both Gen Peds, academic and community, as well as the full spectrum of various subspecialties as well. So I hope that you find something interesting here to check us out a little bit more, and happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
Thank you, Dr. Craig.
So very excited to see all of you guys here today. I'm Su-Ting Lee. I'm the program director for the University of California, Davis Children's Hospital Pediatric Residency Program. And, we really are super excited that we train 13 residents a year. So we have a medium-sized program. Our goal is to train future leaders in pediatrics and child health. And we do that with three program aims. One is to help develop your community health advocacy skills needed to be demonstrate compassionate, culturally sensitive care and advocate for our underserved communities. We have a huge catchment area, which includes our urban underserved, our suburban areas, and a large rural underserved area that goes all the way, extends to, the southern border of Oregon over to Nevada and down a little bit south as well. We develop your skills, knowledge, and experience to serve as leaders within your community and your profession, and we do that through our scholarly project. And we help develop your lifelong learning, critical thinking, and evidence-based practice skills needed to be outstanding pediatricians. We're an academic health center with very diverse community partners. All of our residents do a month at Shriners Hospital for Children, which is right across from our children's hospital. And we have wonderful affiliations with a couple of federally qualified health centers and some rural qualified health centers as well, if you want to do a rural rotation. But our federally qualified health centers are opportunities for continuity clinic and learning there, which is wonderful, including the Sacramento County Health Center, which has a wonderful refugee population, and our Sacramento Native American Health Center as well. And then our residents also do a couple of months at Kaiser, which is the largest HMO on the West Coast. So a lot of wonderful, diverse experiences there as well. We're very excited about our Longitudinal Integrated Change Lives initiative, which stands for community health, advocacy, anti-racism, neighborhood partnerships, justice, and equity. And my associate program director, Dr. Laura Kester, who you just heard a little bit earlier, helps run that. So she's amazing, and we're super excited about that. As part of that integration is our 1 month required community health and advocacy rotation for all of our interns that we've been running for over 20 years, and super excited to have that now integrated in our entire curriculum and thinking about our Change Lives curriculum as well. And all of our residents do a wonderful mentored scholarly project, which we're super excited about, whether that's in community health, research, medical education, quality improvement. We have amazing diversity initiatives that we're really just starting and would love your help with as well. So Dr. Kester is part of our Pediatric Department Diversity and Pediatric Health Equity Committee, and they've just launched an anti-racism and social justice in medicine pediatric resident leadership grants available for our residents. So super excited about that. Our residents, about 40% or so, pursue fellowships every year. They are advocates. They've been able to do things like create a Kids Considered blog and podcast. They testify in front of California legislature very regularly. We are in the capital of California, so Sacramento, right here. One of the most diverse cities in the US, one of the largest refugee communities in the US, capital of California, the farm to fork capital, lots of outdoor activities around. So Tahoe is really close, the Bay Area is really close. Our residents are also scholars. They've published a scholarship, they present nationally, and they're amazing pediatricians. So we are super excited to have all of them. It's really great to be able to get to know some of my interns now. in person rather than everyone via Zoom last year was super tough. And I think they're getting to know each other really well. We're really excited because our intern retreat's coming up this Wednesday, and really excited to continue to get to know them well. Dr. Kester, do you have anything to add? I saw your face there a second ago.
No comment? Shall we move on then? Okay, on to the next one.
Hi there. I'm Rachel Crampton. I'm the program director for the University of Arizona Pediatric Residency. I'm so delighted that you guys are here here this year. Last year, what we found was a lot of people who wanted to interview with us had actually not considered us prior to this event last year. So that's exciting for us. We are a mid-sized academic program. We have 14 categorical peds each year and 3 combined peds EM residents. So that's a 5-year program. And we live in the most incredible place on the planet. We live in the middle of the desert, although right now is monsoon season. So that is has its own challenges and benefits. It's so green here right now. All of our residents are very involved in research. They're involved in advocacy. Really, our plan is to get our residents to be where they want to be. So we talk about how we have 4 or 5 different tracks, but really we have as many tracks as we have residents, because there's room for individualization at every turn, so that our interns, by the time they're seniors, are going into the fellowships that they want, they're getting the jobs that they want, and having those opportunities. There is a lot of opportunity for research here for folks who want it. A lot of our subspecialists do a lot of research. A lot of our hospitalists do a lot of research. We also pay a lot of attention to our residents' well-being. This has been a big focus over the last year, certainly during during the pandemic. But even before that, for a long time, we've been really concerned about our well-being. Each class gets its own 3-day retreat. We have a strong wellness curriculum and lots of support for the residents, both their social health and their mental health. New things going on right now. We have a task force that's revising our curriculum to be an 18-month recurrent curriculum, so that everyone will get everything twice. It gives the opportunity for, if you're on nights or things like a vacation and you miss a teaching day, you'll be able to catch up on that later. In terms of our diversity, our department is really one of the departments that's really leading the way at the University of Arizona for diversity initiatives. We've got a number of speakers that both within and that come from outside the university to talk to us about various aspects of that. We also have a visiting student scholarship for diversity for underrepresented students. In terms of, I guess I told you about our program size in terms of Tucson. So Tucson has all of the things that a big city has, but has a very much of a small city feel. Everything's very approachable. There's incredible food, incredible theater. I'm a huge theater person, incredible theater, performing arts. It's really just a lovely place. And our residents are really a big family. For a medium-sized program, we're a smallish faculty, so we get to know each of our residents really, really well, and they get to know us well. And the residents look out for each other, both in classes, within their class, as well as outside their class, and spend a lot of both their work time and their play time together. Also here on the call with us is Larissa, who's our program coordinator. So I'm going to give her a minute to introduce herself, because she is the wheels on the bus and knows everything. Larissa.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for having us again. We're excited to be here again this year. I think Rachel said it all. The biggest thing about us is we're very approachable. We like to work like a family. And I really think if you have questions, reach out. We are easygoing and we're excited you're here.
Thank you. On to the next one.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carrie Rosbach, and I am the Pediatric Residency Program Director at Stanford. And I just have to say, it's been really fun to hear about all the other programs in our region. We have so many wonderful programs, and everyone is doing great work. So I'd love to share with you a little bit about our program. And the vision of our program is to create outstanding clinicians and leaders in child health. And we have a real commitment to serving our community. And despite what you might be thinking about the Silicon Valley, we see such a diverse patient population where we are. The Bay Area is truly a melting pot, and we have a ton of underserved patients in our community that our residents love taking care of. So that is definitely a priority in our institution. We also have some unique programs, which I'll talk a little bit more about. And we recently transitioned to an X+Y model just last month. And we are working through that. And it's been a really nice change for our residents to be able to focus on inpatient rotations when they're inpatient and outpatient rotations when they're outpatient. So some of the highlights of our curriculum, first of all, we've been focusing on anti-racism over the last little over a year. And we had our first academic half day focusing on anti-racism this past year. We also have built in some anti-racism elements into each of our rotations, and that has been a really nice addition to our curriculum. We also have focused on expanding our mental health training for our residents, and that is through our continuity clinics and our community rotation, our developmental behavioral pediatrics rotation, and adolescent medicine as well, really trying to prepare our residents to be able to meet the health and mental health care needs of our patients. We have a scholarly concentrations program, which started in 2012. And actually it expanded in 2012, but it started even a few years before that. And we have 6 different areas that each resident can choose to pursue a scholarly project in. And that includes medical education, advocacy, quality improvement, basic science or translational research, clinical research, and advocacy. And we have mentors and leaders who oversee each of those areas, and each resident gets to complete a project in one of those 6 areas. We also have multiple clinical sites. Our 2 main sites are Lucile Packard Children's Hospital, as well as Santa Clara Valley Medical Center, which is the county hospital in San Jose. And then our residents also go to a couple of other sites for rotations. We've got a collaboration with Valley Children's Hospital near Fresno, and our residents spend a month there doing emergency medicine. We have a large program, so we have 110 residents now. We just expanded this past year, and that includes categorical residents. I apologize, it should say 27 per year. We have 4 physician scientist residents per year. We have 2 pediatrics anesthesiology residents per year. We're one of only 5 programs in the country that have a combined pediatrics anesthesiology residency program. We have a combined pediatrics medical genetics program and a child neurology program. And just to share a little bit about our diversity initiatives, we started the LEAD program, which is Leadership Education in Advancing Diversity, back in 2017. And that program has since expanded to all of Stanford residency programs. And it is an optional program that residents can choose to participate in, where they meet monthly in the evening with other residents and mentors, and they learn about different topics related to diversity and inclusion. And then they work together to create a workshop on a topic related to diversity and inclusion that they then get to teach others about, both at local as well as national meetings. We also have a number of other GME-led and program-led diversity initiatives. So I will stop there, and I'd like to give my chief resident, who's on with me, Caitlin Dillingham, a chance to add any additional words.
Hi, everyone. I'm Caitlin. I'm one of the chief residents, as Carrie said. It's so nice to see all your faces and meet you virtually. I'll just leave you with my favorite thing after having graduated from this program. I knew when I was in your shoes and I was looking for a spot that fit me best, that no matter where I went, that it was going to be a really challenging and many days grueling 3 years. And I wanted to be at a place that I felt just wholly supported by all levels of our healthcare system, from my fellow trainees and our family and our program to our staff and our faculty. And I really felt that, having been here for the last 3 years, enough for me to stay as a 4th year. I really felt like they care about not only who I am becoming and who I've become as a doctor, but who I am as a human too, just as much. So I would love to talk to any of you guys outside of this meeting as well, if you have any particular questions. And it's so nice to meet you all.
Thank you. I'm going to move on to the next slide. I actually think you might have been the last slide. Yes, so we will open up for our Q&A. Remember that you can post your questions in the chat box, or you can possibly ask them out loud, or you can tweet with Future Peds Res webinar or FPR webinar. I think Ryan is going to take the lead on some questions. If no one has questions, we have some of our own. So we'll let you guys take it away.
All right, good evening, everyone. So we have one of our first questions that come from us, for us from Twitter is, are there any tips for applicants who are not from the Western region?
I'll just make one comment on that. Thank you, Ryan, for that question. California, and I think probably a lot of the West Coast, we need residents from all over the country because, as you probably know, we have traditionally had a shortage of medical schools in the Western regions. So we have relied on medical schools further east to train outstanding medical students and send them our way. So we love applicants from all over the country. You do not need to have a connection to the Western region. We'd love to show you what we have to offer and entice you out west.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else who wants to answer that question? If not, we can move on.
Alan, you sound like you're underwater.
I'm gonna take it back real quick.
There you go.
Better. Sorry.
Yes.
So you have interest in a program, and being able to figure out why that interest is. I like to hear about it. It's so if it's something that you're interested in, you want to come out to the West Coast, and I think that's something helpful to think about and how you want to kind of answer to that that interest.
Thank you so much. And you have a very cute child.
She thinks every Zoom meeting is like her time to shine. So.
Okay, so next question. Where can students find info regarding open houses?
Besides Future Peds Res?
Yes, besides Future Peds Res.
I think probably most of the programs in the Western region will be having some sort of open house that we will make sure that between Twitter and websites and Future Peds Res and Instagram and all of the places. So just keep your ear to the ground. And specifically, if you're interested in a particular program, reach out to the program or check the program website.
We're also compiling a list of these to put on the APPD and the concept websites, and we'll share it with Future Peds Res too.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So one question, any advice for upcoming virtual interview season?
I would say to make sure that you have somewhere that has a good internet connection. So that may end up being in your home if you have a fast internet connection, or it may end up being in your institution. So you may have to kind of think about that for those pieces, because you wouldn't want to be cut out in the middle of talking to somebody. And then thinking about, as you interview, really, how do you make that connection? How do you get to know the residents and the faculty there? It's a little harder than in previous years when you have a little bit less of that chit chat. So really ask as many of the questions as you can, get to know the residents and the chief residents and the faculty. We all would love for you to reach out to us if you don't have enough information. during the interview to actually make your decisions. And so we're happy to have that time to talk with you as well. So we recognize that this is difficult and challenging during this time, and we'd love to, help as much as we can with that.
Many programs will have virtual resident-specific open houses or happy hours. And during those, feel free to be open, ask your questions. And then if you have specific questions, last year we had applicants email us, ask them and say, I really wanted a chance to speak with a resident that maybe has family in a similar situation to mine. And then is there someone you can connect me with? And we were always happy to do that.
I'll just say too, if you find yourself anywhere near any of these areas, reach out to the program as well. And it's more than likely that we, like whether a chief resident or one of our other residents can set up a meeting with you, whether over coffee, if you're here, or give you like a quick tour around. I know it's so hard to get a sense of the culture in this virtual season that we're in now. So if you happen to be around, reach out and we can try to coordinate something in person too if it works out.
So it kind of depends. So our UCs have said like no in-person meetings at all because of equity and other reasons. And so I'd be very leery of that because not everybody can travel around. And so I'd be just beware of that. So our institution has said that there's no second looks, there's no like meeting somebody on the side, there's no any of that because not everybody can do that. So we just want to be aware of that as well. We would love to have everybody come visit, but that's not going to be the case this year. And so we'd like to make sure it's fair for everybody.
Yeah, we're about to come out with official recommendations from APPD, Future Peds Res, COMCEP, AMSPDEC, the whole list of acronyms, recommending that we not do any in-person visits this year because of safety and equity reasons. But I think the feeling that you can reach out is definitely there. So by all means, we will make sure that you get the answers you need to best understand the programs.
Okay, so the next question comes to us from Evelise, I believe is how I pronounce it. She says, I know the Western region is diverse in itself, but can you speak to the cost of living, or do you recommend any resources for looking into the cost of living and affordability? Thank you.
Well, I can speak for our program, Harvard UCLA. We do have a housing stipend that we get yearly. We have a resident union that's really focused on advocating for our residents. And so we have a newly instituted housing stipend, which helps with housing costs. There's also there's a diversity of options as far as living situation goes. And so we try to connect residents. If you're in need of a roommate, apartment living, home living, there are a lot of different suburbs in the South Bay region and in LA and Orange County. And so depending on the type of neighborhood you want to be in, like living situation, there are a lot of different expenses depend on if you want to be in, downtown Long Beach versus, living in Lakewood, which is a suburb right next to Long Beach where I live. We do our best to help our residents out knowing the different options in the area, and we can do that for our applicants as well. That's a common question we get.
And I think with the diversity of the Western region, there's a diversity in terms of cost of living as well. So we're in Sacramento and the cost of living is not nearly as high as the Bay Area or LA, but we also have a housing stipend because we are residents also just unionized this year. So their contract just got negotiated. And so they have housing stipend plus a moving stipend plus annual educational funding and some other things, which I think is great that they're been able to advocate for themselves, which is really nice. So I think reaching out to the residents in terms of asking them where do they live, what's your housing situation like, where else did you consider looking at? Some of the places are close enough that they can walk or bike to our campus, or they are living in downtown Sacramento because they like to walk out and go check out all the food over there. So that's like really cool too. So they can go from place to place. And so it kind of depends on, what they want to do. Or some of them have decided they're going to purchase a house while they're here, or like a condo, or like something else. And so it really kind of depends. And so depending on the area that you are looking at and what their your partner may do, and what you may do, and what you're looking for, and if you have kids or dogs or pets or whatever, you may be looking for different things. And so I think our residents are all very diverse as well, and they've all looked at different things in different places, and so definitely reaching out to them as well is helpful.
Okay, so there's another question from Juan Farias. He was asking, how open are you guys for the IMGs to enter programs?
I think we look at the entire application, and so there's lots of things that we look at for the entire application. That is a part of it, but that's not the only piece. So I think all of us are a little bit different, but I think we also all do a holistic review in terms of thinking about those pieces as well.
Thank you. Any other program want to join?
I mentioned it in the chat earlier, in the Zoom chat earlier, but we work very hard, as kind of I think Suting was mentioning. I think we work very hard to be holistic. I think in general, and kind of how we look at our applicants, and again, that's one component of many. And so we want to be as open to anybody who's interested in coming as possible, and that includes non-US IMGs or any other kind of category you could probably think of. But we want to give everybody a fair shake.
Thank you.
I'll just jump in here and ask, do any of your programs have upcoming open houses or anything like that applicants can go look at? Or if you are planning on having some, where can people find that information?
At UCLA, we annually we've had some form of kind of opportunity for kind of open house or look or social events or otherwise, and that could be even UCLA GME as a whole has like some activities. Again, obviously virtual this year. That is what we're planning, but I think it's worthwhile to look at individual programs websites if you want to be involved. I always think it's really important to kind of say that we don't keep track of any of that stuff though. This is for you if you're interested. I don't want you to feel like you have to go to like a million mixers and like that. I don't think that's feasible even in this virtual space. And so I encourage you to go if you think it's going to be helpful for you. And we're happy to kind of have that information on our website, distribute that information out there once we have scheduled for a lot of that stuff. But again, don't feel obligated to go to every single one.
And don't
I just want to echo
any of them.
Yeah, I want to echo what Alan said. We would love to have the opportunity to talk to you more in one of those open houses, but we don't keep track here in Arizona either. It's for your benefit. So, so if you have a question, come and ask your questions, especially if there's a question that is particularly pivotal for you. I think that one of the problems with the virtual space is that sometimes if there are specific kinds of questions that would really make or break a program for you, it's important to get those questions answered. So, yeah.
I would echo everything everybody said here at UNM. We don't take attendance. We don't use those in any sort of, recruitment strategy, but we tend to use them later on, sprinkled throughout the season. So after you've had a chance to interview and look at the website and, have a chance to talk to more residents, ask follow-up questions, that sort of thing. So they'll be sprinkled maybe a little bit before and throughout the interview season as a resource for you.
Okay, I also just want to take this time to remind everyone, if you are a resident, please put an R in front of your name so that when we do the breakouts for the residents to speak to the students, we're able to figure out who you are. Okay, so here's another question. Are residents paired with mentors who have similar interests?
Yes, at least at UCLA, you know, one of the things I found challenging was trying to be able to be a really good mentor to every single one of our residents that really need that individualized time. And so I actually have separate mentors assigned to every single one of our incoming interns. And I try to base that upon interest. You saw me laugh a little bit if you could see me on the Zoom. It's because hit or miss sometimes, you know, like it's because I think your interests change over time. And so while I try very hard to match somebody up, it may not always be perfect. That's why all of our advisees, including James Lee down here, you can see him in the picture, is always willing to have an open door. So as your mind changes, as things go on, you always have somebody to go to talk about your interests.
Yeah, I can echo that for UCLA. Hi, my name's Catherine. I'm one of the PGY3s and a rising chief at UCLA. We are paired with faculty advisors at the beginning of starting our residency. So you'll check in with your advisors kind of in a formal way twice per year. And usually they're people who have similar career paths that you might be interested in. But I will say that all of our advisors who are also our associate program directors are just like very warm and very involved. So you interact with them all the time. James is here. James is not my advisor, but he's a personal mentor of mine. So you just end up kind of meeting people within the program directorship that meet your needs and that can mentor you. And everybody's really supportive about that.
I'll speak briefly about what we do at Stanford. We used to have a similar approach where we paired people when they were incoming interns based on potential career interest. And what we found was that so many residents change what they're interested in during residency. So what we now do is we have several elements of mentoring for our residents, but we no longer pair based on career interest, and we give all residents a coach, and they also have an associate program director. And then those people help residents to identify like research mentors or fellowship directors that they should talk to throughout their time as their interests evolve.
Okay, so it looks like we're all about to get out of the breakout room in about 15 seconds. So I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who participated, all the program directors, coordinators, residents, and we will see all the students and residents soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.